This is example 1 of lesson 2.4, more algebraic formulas. We're going to cover 3 different formulas today. You'll have already been introduced to them very briefly on a previous slide, but we're going to take them slowly. I know these can be a little complicated at times, but they are very useful formulas to know. And being able to solve them is very important as well. So we're going to start with this one. This is called the simple interest formula. When you put money into a bank, you are basically lending the bank your money, and the bank is going to pay interest on it. If you've ever had a bank account, or you have a parent who have a bank account, they will know that if you have money in an account for an extended period of time, you earn interest, which is money that the bank pays you to be able to use your money. You can still access your money at any time, of course. There are 4 letters in this formula, as listed on the left. The formula itself is I equals PRT. I is interest. Interest is the amount of money that you make on your own money. P is principal, or the starting amount, the amount of money that you put into the account. R is rate, which is a percent written as a decimal. We'll get there in a minute. And T is time, for how long the money's been in the account. So let's go ahead and walk through this with this example. Tracy found a savings account that earned 6% per year. The lucky girl. She deposited $200 in an account and left the money there for 5 years. The question is, how much interest did she earn, and how much total money will she have in that account after 5 years? Well, let's look at this. First off, let's discuss which of these letters goes with which of these amounts. She found a savings account that earned 6% per year. Now, whenever you see the word per, you know you're dealing with a rate. 6% is going to be our rate. 6% is going to be our rate, but we're not going to write it as 6%. We cannot plug a percent into a formula like this. We have to write it as a decimal. Percent means out of 100, which means out of every $100 you put in, you get $6 interest. So that's equal to 6 out of 100, which when we do this division problem, 6 divided by 100, we get 0.06. So our rate is actually 0.06. And that's the number we're going to be working with here. Our rate should rarely be over 1 whole. If your rate is over 1 whole, you should have over 100% as your rate. Otherwise, your rate is going to be a decimal. You can either divide it by 100 using a calculator or your own mind, or you can just look at this and take the decimal point and move it over to the left twice. Now, she deposited $200 in an account. Deposited means she put it in the bank. Okay? That's her starting amount, how much she put in the bank to start with. That is going to be our principal, equals 200. And she left it there for 5 years. 5 years is how long? The time. 5. We don't have to put years here. It's fine. So now, what we need to do is multiply this all together. I, interest, how much she will earn, equals P, principal, 200, times, let me write a time symbol, please. That's not at all what I asked you to do. My goodness, computer. There we go. Times 0.06. Make sure we're not putting the percentage, put the decimal in. 0.06 times 5. All right. I equals, we're just solving now. All we have now is multiplication problem. We just need to solve. 5 times 200 is 1,000 times 0.06. And if you want to use a calculator for this part, you certainly are welcome to. A calculator is only as good as what you put in it. If you don't know what you're putting in the calculator is not going to help you. But in this case, if you'd like to put 1,000 times 0.06 in the calculator, that's fine. Me personally, I know that when I'm multiplying by a power of 10, like 1,000, I'm going to move the decimal point to the right, the number of zeros I have. So I is going to equal $60. I'll just squeeze a dollar sign in there. So how much interest did she make? she made $60 in interest. But that's not the last part of the question. The last part of the question is, how much total money will she have? Well, she started by putting $200 in, and she earned $60 in interest. So all we have to do here is add these together, and bam, $260 is how much money she has in her account at the end of it all. And that's simple interest. The hardest part in this, I think, is determining which number goes with which part and remembering to write your percentage as a decimal. Your rate should not be a whole number. Let me repeat that. Your rate should be a decimal or a fraction. Not a whole number, and certainly not a number bigger than 1.